Okay, so first of all, welcome to you all for the SIT chat, the weekly information sharing, or I would say camaraderie building or networking discussion what we have. Uh, Before we start, as usual, I will make a short presentation of what SIT chat is, and after that invite our speaker to share his wisdom on a topic. So let me just directly go to the presentation, which I will be speaking about. Uh, SIT basically is a platform where we are trying to bring the experts in touch with the founders so that the founders and the startup community can get benefited with various information, know-how, knowledge, handholding, and all that. And in this activity, I have volunteered to organize what is called a SIT chat, a kind of a discussion with experts from various ranges, starting from HR, finance, business development, technology, infrastructure, IT, etc., who would basically talk about these topics. Topics could be on financial discipline, on expanding the business, then managing the expectations, etc. It could be any topic. And so we have now gone on to some topics which are more sometimes mostly on the personal side, like how do you spend, how do you save on credit card spend? That was one interesting topic. And also there are things which are not directly related to a startup, but in some way or other connected. The credit card business also is connected, and today's topic also is connected in that sense. So before I talk about the topic, let me just very briefly explain that whatever we share here is with a noble intent. However, please do refer your trusted advisors, professionals before you act on whatever we say here. That's extremely important to make sure that both of us reach out to a win-win solution. With that having been said, so let me start the date here has to be changed. It's not 16. So I need to change the date, but that is okay. I'll do that later. Today's topic is disrupting the supply chain in manufacturing by somebody who has had a very, very intense experience in manufacturing and especially has seen IT, OT, OM. He will explain all the three in his talk, what these three jargons are in a very, very close quarters so that you can understand what is the real pain point of many manufacturing companies. Based on that, he has come up with a platform, and that's his startup. Today, our objective is to discuss about that startup and see how we can gain traction for Vinod in fulfilling his passion. So Vinod, please welcome to our SIT chat. Thanks a lot for accepting. And before I hand it over to you, a very brief introduction about myself. My name is Dinakar. I'm a consultant, coach, mentor. I work with startups, established companies, mainly of all sizes, micro to multinational, mainly to help them improve their performance, which is spanning from vision to reality. It can be anything, anywhere. I'm some kind of a problem solver with emphasis on systems, emphasis on processes and people. Of course, without that, nothing really works. Based on my experience in Bosch, which was for about 26 years in various countries. I also lived in Germany for a long time, 8 years in Stuttgart, but then decided to come back. Before that, we were in Brazil for 5 years. So it's been quite a wonderful journey for us. God has been very, very kind. Divinity has been very kind. And also, the divine has possibly given me this opportunity to talk in SIT chat. It's again something very interesting. With that, over to you, Vinod. Please give a very brief introduction about yourself for everybody. And then after that, you can explain your magic and your solution for disrupting the manufacturing supply chain. Over to you, Vinod.
Yeah, thank you, Dinakarji. And by the way, Suresh has also joined. Hi, Suresh. Hi. Okay, so thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about the Indian manufacturing, the situations, let's say, and how we can, or what are the pain points, what we are seeing. What we means, we are a group of people who are closely monitoring the Indian manufacturing from a different perspective and trying to help the manufacturing in India. Let me share my. I hope you're able to see my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, go ahead. But we are able to see your window. which tells about Zoom.
Yeah, now should be possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, very good. This, okay.
Lidex India Private Limited.
Yeah. So, I myself, Vinod Mullashiril, I'm founder and chairman of Lidex India Private Limited. I represent Lidex India Private Limited here. We personally, I have some 27 years of operations management, operations technology, information technology expertise. Basically, with a manufacturing background, then moved into IT. That's precisely my background. So I worked in many digital transformation projects within TE. I was working for a company called TE Connectivity or Tyco Electronics. Probably that's a most familiar name for many of you. In 1997, I joined with this company, and in 2008, I moved from India to Germany. So I was getting a lot of opportunity to roam around Europe and as well as Americas to visit different plants, studying different processes, standardizing different processes, identifying the business process gaps with respect to the IT systems available. So converging those opportunities, converging those possibilities, we have. I could contribute a lot for our company, and then I was growing through the ranks. The last position what I had in the company is as a global program manager, wherein I was responsible for the IBP implementation. IBP is a integrated business planning tool, a strategic planning tool for the corporate, where we segment-wise businesses, and then based on each segment, we can create next 5-year long-term planning, basically, so that we can identify where to invest, what to invest, which products we need to focus, what raw materials we need to be careful with, capacity planning, manpower planning, everything we can do that with that. So that is the last assignment what I had, and since October 31st, I'm out from this company. I mean, basically, I came out of this company because I wanted to focus on this project, Lidex India Private Limited. So that's a background, and the purpose of forming this Lidex India Private Limited, it's all started with something like in 2017, I started this as a kind of giving something back to the society. That was the original intention of this project. So it was like a philanthropy I started. Then I was discussing with many people. Some of them shown interest, some of them did not, because this is totally an unorganized sector. So people were skeptical whether we will be able to move the needle a bit, at least in this sector. But since when I moved out of India from an operational management level, when I moved out of India to industrialized nation like Germany, and having the opportunity to roam around, what I understood is that the productivity levels in India is at a very, very low level. I always call it as a kind of tribal. Don't take me wrong, but I call it as a tribal way, which we wanted to. Sometimes we feel like a pain somewhere here. We feel that pain because there is a lot of possibilities India can utilize, and unfortunately we are not utilizing all those options. So that's where we thought of, okay, let us start something, doing maybe it's a small contribution from our side for the society, for the industry. So that's how we started with this project. What we were aiming at, that we Indians are everywhere. We at a senior level, any position you take, we can have a number of Indians working there. So we have a lot of knowledge as a community, as a country or as a community. We have a lot of knowledge. So I was thinking, how can we bring those together for the betterment of the industry? That was the intention. So that is why I put here, the purpose is to bring the global operations management, operations technology, and IT, information technology expertise, to empower the Indian manufacturing MSMEs with technology, upskilling, productivity, and opportunity. Because OM, operations management, I believe you all are familiar with. Operation technology is the way how we can extract data directly from the machines. And information technology, once we extract the data from the machine, then how we communicate, how we utilize, how we analyze this data, that is the IT side. So OM, OT, IT convergence, if we are able to make it, then that can solve or that can give many perspective, and that can change the perspective of the people who are supposed to manage those things. So this is where when we upgrade on the technology, then the upskilling, that is the biggest challenge. That's the next biggest challenge. For last 1 decade, I'm always hearing that 80% of the 80% of the students coming out of the institutes are not employable, right? And you talk to any entrepreneurs from the manufacturing industry, everyone is crying that there is no manpower. Recently, there was a meeting in Hanover during one of the exhibitions, and Indian Machine Tool Manufacturers Association, along with VDMA, they were doing a seminar here. So they were projecting like by 2030 we will have almost like 100 million job opportunities in Indian manufacturing. But everyone is concerned, what are we going to do with the manpower? Okay, if automation is the solution, but if strictly speaking, if automation is the solution, then why should a company come out of high-cost country to a low-cost country? Because at the same time, when we get more and more manufacturing companies to India, if everyone is focusing on automation and robotics, then how are we going to employ our people? There are several questions which needs to be answered as a country, as a nation, when we progress. But anyway, that upskilling is one of the critical challenges we are seeing. Then the productivity, once the technology and upskilling is done, productivity needs to be ensured. The other day I was talking with Mr. Vijay Clara, who was the ex-head of manufacturing in Mahindra. So we were just interacting for almost 2 hours. Then we were discussing about the current productivity levels of India on an MSME level. So surprisingly, we were agreeing that it is less than 50%. Right. So if the productivity is less than 50%, how are we going to pay the manpower a good package to the manpower? If you're not paying, especially a country like India, we always revolve around the status of everything, right? Status of employment, status of people, family, everything is around status. So if you are unable to pay a better package, better salary for the people, then what happens is that they will not be able to, we will not be able to get the good group of resources or students coming out of the institutes. Hey, Sagar, you wanted to ask something?
No, are you changing the slides, or is it one slide?
No, it's the same slide. It's the same slide.
Okay.
So that is where we need to look at the productivity. Recently, Narayan Murthy was saying that we need to work for 70 hours, but many people were saying, okay, why should we work for 70 hours instead of we should be looking for productivity? Exactly, that is what we should be looking. But at least that triggered a lot of discussion within the industry that productivity is something which we need to be focusing. Then once we have this productivity, once we have the technology, once we have the upskilling, then naturally you are going to create capacity within your factories, because when the productivity goes up, definitely you're going to have better capacity or free capacity. Those free capacity needs to be filled in. So that is where opportunity comes in place. We need to have an option, or we need to have a possibility that we should be able to give them better load for this manufacturing plants. So that is why the purpose is this is the purpose. When we have these things worked out, and if you are able to make let's say 10%, 20% improvement in these things, then definitely we will be, the purpose with which we are intending to do this project, I would say it is successful. So that's the reason why we started a platform called India. Purposefully, we took this name as India because it is dedicated for India. So Make on India, this is a end-to-end digital platform, the supply chain ecosystem on a SaaS platform, where we are focusing on the custom manufacturing industry, because that's where we have our expertise. So that's why we are focusing on the custom manufacturing industry, to embrace digital technologies, because we are, with our spread knowledge across the globe, we can bring in the latest technologies into India. then follow the industry best practices. We can define the best practices suitable for the industry because we have the expertise on the process. Then connecting OEMs, manufacturers, material suppliers, service providers, everyone, if we are able to connect it together, then this what we talked about, the technology upskilling, productivity opportunity, all these things can be achieved. That's the reason why we came up with the platform. Maybe if time permits, we can go into the details of that platform. That is my startup or our startup.
Yeah, without,
so
just a short request. See, I had sent you in the email also. If you can clarify what is this IT, OT, and OM, information technology, operations technology, and operations and maintenance, or how are these things interconnected?
Yeah.
You know, that is something which is very important for everybody. Maybe with a small example, small.
Maybe we can get into that once we get into the details. Probably we can go through that.
Sure.
Would that help? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So if anyone is not aware about what we are talking about, the manufacturing, because maybe people are coming from different background. Let's say if whatever products you see, it's all manufactured in a factory environment. It's all produced in a factory environment. So when, for example, a car is, if you dismantle a car, it is said that there is something around 30,000 different individual parts, individual components. So all these components, let's say if Maruti wants to produce a car, they cannot produce all the components in their own facilities because that is going to be a huge manufacturing activity, which they don't want to, or they cannot do that. So that is the reason why this huge manufacturing companies always depend on ancillary industries. So ancillary industries are the small companies which produce individual components of this. Maybe they, for example, let's say Maruti wants to come out with a new car model. So they are going to give an inquiry to a company saying that, okay, they want to have this wheel-based manufacture. So then first, the company is going to create a model out of it, a 3D model. And then from the 3D model, once every specifications are agreed between Maruti and the manufacturer, I'm just giving you as a layman language. It may not mean there will be many specifics to that, but just for understanding, the designs are given to the manufacturer. Then from the designs, then if you want to produce it in mass, then definitely there is two factors which are coming in place. One is a tool and another one is a machine. So tool is something like, maybe you can consider it as something like the idli, I don't know, idli, what we make idlis, right? So if you want to make one idli, then it's okay. But if you want to make 1,000 idlis, then definitely you need a mold for making idlis. So it's exactly the same. A tool is something like we can repeatedly produce the components using this tool. So again, this tool itself is made out of hundreds of small steel parts. So then each of those steel parts needs to be machined. So once the designs are ready, then we need to machine those individual small parts, put together into a tool, then load that tool into a machine where here what we are showing is a plastic injection molding machine. So load this tool into this machine, then using plastic material, we produce the components. And if it is a sheet metal, then this is going to be another, we call it as a stamping tool, a stamping machine. If it is a aluminum casting or any type of casting, then this is going to be a casting machine, die casting machine. So once the component is produced, sometimes that component can be straightforward shipped to Maruti, or sometimes a couple of components needs to be assembled. It can be a manual assembly, it can be a semi-automatic or an automatic machine, automatic assembly. After that assembly, those we call it as a sub-assembly, those sub-assemblies are given to Maruti. Then Maruti, what they are going to do, they are going to assemble all this together to form the car. And now you can replace this car with your laptop, with your washing machine, with your television, or whatever you see as a product around you, you can replace it. So almost like the manufacturing process is going to be like this. And we are talking, the India project is focusing on this kind of a industry where everything is mechanized, not handmade. So I hope manufacturing, the industry is pretty clear to all. Now, the challenge what we are facing here, see, the government of India is talking about making India a 5 trillion economy by 2030. Right now, it is roughly 3, and last week there was claims that we have already reached the 4 million mark. But anyway, even though there is no authorized comments on that, but let's say 2030 is the target for making into a 5 trillion economy. 5 trillion economy with a 25% contribution from 25% GDP contribution from the manufacturing. That means right now we are at around 17%. So if you calculate, what happens is that a 500 billion is the contribution from manufacturing today. That needs to go up to 1.25 trillion. So that means almost 2.5 times that particular industry output should grow. That means on an average, if you see, every company should grow by 2.5 times. Maybe some companies grow 5 times, some companies, when they will perish, maybe a new company will come up. But whatever be the situation, on an average, if you look at it, it needs to grow by 2.5 times. So when we look from that perspective, there is a huge opportunity. So there is a robust manufacturing demand, 1 trillion GDP expected by 2025, 1.25 trillion is expected by 2030. Okay, these figures are definitely mismatching because you know how difficult it is to depend on certain figures which we are getting from the Indian authorized departments. Yeah. So 1 trillion is GDP is expected by 2025, 1 trillion export expected by 2030. I'm talking about the manufacturing. Then internal consumption, 17% of global by 2030. That's a projection. So that all these figures are very promising, very encouraging. We have an increasing FDI. 58 billion FDI was there in 2022. Then policy support, government of India, government of state governments. Each state government is competing. Every government is putting a lot of effort to make use of this opportunity. So there is from a policy perspective, we have a lot of support from every government. Then 67% of OEMs expect suppliers to go digital because today's world is changing into digital. So OEMs, there was an McKinsey survey which says 67% of Indian OEMs are expecting their suppliers to go digital. So in order to ensure supply consistency, because you know there are a lot of problems with Indian suppliers, especially the lead time is one of the critical factors. So for supply consistency, material and process traceability, this is another big headache in India, especially for the big OEMs. Process traceability, material traceability is something which is very critical, which most of the time we fail in that. Tier 2 level audits are happening, but we have a lot of tier 3, tier 4 companies which are unable to comply to these kind of requirements. Cost optimization, of course, cost optimization need to happen. Then visibility to reliable data, because most of the companies are operating from a supplier portal perspective. That means manually they depend on the OEMs are depending on the manual updates from their suppliers. So this is, we know manual updates are always manipulated updates. That's what we are seeing historically. So that's the reason why OEMs are expecting their suppliers to go digital. Then there are huge challenges. 90% of the suppliers are MSMEs in India, which is like many companies. Even in Germany, for example, 85% of the suppliers are the Mittelstand, the SME sector. So India is also not different. Out of this 90%, more than 90% face working capital crunch because since they are not optimally running, there is a lot of trouble with the working capital. 30% capacity is underutilized. RBI, then they themselves are saying the utilization is only around 70-72%. Then 80% increased lead time. This 80% increased lead time is it is practically, if you compare a Chinese vendor to an Indian vendor, we can very well understand that the lead times are quite high for India. Then, of course, low-skilled workforce. Why do I say low-skilled workforce? 80% of the employment in manufacturing sector contributes 45% of the output. That clearly shows we have a low productivity from our low-skilled workforce. Then supply chain disruptions. 90% cases, there are either significant or partial supply chain disruptions. 81% are due to material shortage, 84% due to cost productivity reasons, 68% due to demand fluctuations. These are the three critical things. And we need to read this together with this 67% of OEMs expect suppliers to go digital, because if you have to be agile, then digitalization is a must for us. Then it's totally unorganized sector. Lack of proper ecosystem. There is no ecosystem in India which can satisfy, which can bring all these stakeholders together. Then poor adaptation. We know we are always, from a culture perspective, we always think that, okay, I mean, last 40 years I'm running in this way. I will continue to run another 60 years. I'm okay with that. The mindset needs to change. So complexity of digitalization is a reason for that. People think that, oh, this is something big which we will not understand, or we don't want to understand. Then cost and culture. As I said, the cost factor is something big, because from a mindset perspective, if we talk to an entrepreneur, tell him that, okay, look, you need a ERP system or a system to manage your business, then immediately say, okay, why should I? I can put another machine and I can get the output from that machine. But he doesn't understand that overall, if you are able to improve the productivity by 10%, that can bring more than what he can turn around with adding a particular machine. But these are some of the things which we need to solve. So the solution is embracing the digital technologies and follow industry best practices. That is what we think as a solution for this. And at Vadhwani Foundation, they were doing a lot of research on this topic, and they came up with several figures. 17% increase in revenue can be achieved just by implementing digital technologies. 14% reduction in operations cost can be achieved. 27% higher potential to tap new markets, that is possible. 19% increase in production capacity, 20% improvement in deliveries. Then definitely the traceability for material batch process. This can be achieved by digitalization. Real-time and realistic data, because most of the time capturing or understanding the problem itself is a huge task in our industry. So once we are able to digitalize, then we get the real-time as well as realistic data. And just imagine if the OEMs can get a view into the realistic or real-time data, then that can improve situations, that can take the situation into a totally different dimension. Okay, and that's the reason why we are saying technology, upskilling, productivity, opportunity. These are the 4 foundation stones where we need to focus for this manufacturing industry in India to improve. This is a challenge which I want to put forward. Yeah. So you wanted to ask something? Okay.
Continue.
Continue,
Okay.
sir.
Good. So you wanted to stop here from that perspective, but I can take another 5-10 minutes to explain what we are doing for this. So yeah. As I said, we have launched India in mid-August. We launched India, and officially we are making it publicly available by end of this month, November end. This will be available publicly. So as I said, the four foundation stones: opportunity, productivity, technology, upskilling. These are the 4 foundation stones we are focusing. So for the opportunity purpose, we have created a marketplace wherein all stakeholders, like the OEMs, the manufacturers, the material suppliers, the service providers, everyone can come together into a single place wherein they can create, let's say, RFQ, inquiry management, NDAs, because this is most of the time, there could be engineering IPs involved. So NDA, non-disclosure agreement, management can be done. Then the supplier matchings can be done. So this is what we talk about, the opportunity. In the productivity side, we have created a SAP-like ERP system, wherein this is for manufacturers and suppliers. We cover lead to quote. An inquiry can be converted into a quote, and then once the quote is converted to an order, then the concept to market, building prototypes, designs, engineering, all those things. Then the demand to build, once we start manufacturing, we can convert the demand to build, that means to product, and then to cash, then procure to pay whatever raw materials you need to procure, that procurement to pay, that process can be handled and the budget to report. So this is going to help us in productivity. Then we also have technology side. We have a lot of digital transformation tools are being built now for all stakeholders, end-to-end demand sensing. Once we have the marketplace in available, once we have the stakeholders on board, once we have the digital, let's say SAP like ERP system in place, then the advantage is that everything is digital, so we can start creating forecast based on the demand sensing across the network. We can do this process. So this can improve the inventory strategies. Inventory turns can be improved. Stocking strategies can be improved. So that can definitely improve even on the costing side, pricing side. Then IIoT, machine connectivity. This is something which we are talking about the OT side. Machines, from the machines directly, we can collect data, process data. For example, if you are doing a molding process, then from the machine, we can collect the data at which the machine parameters are set. And based on the machine parameters against the standard parameters, which are agreed with the customer, we can correlate and we can come up with the automatic inspection reports, process matchings, etc. Then inspection equipments connected to internet in the sense connected to our ERP system. So the inspection COEs can be automatically generated. I mean, all these kind of tool capabilities are being built at the moment. Then AI ML driven optimizers, for example, for the demand sensing, we can create for creating the forecast, we can create AI models. For the supply for the scheduling purpose, we can use AI models. A lot of opportunities we have here. Then lean management we can implement. Lean tools can be implemented. Then visibility, traceability, all these things can be ensured through this. Then we are also coming with for the upskilling, we are coming with something called a skilling factory, wherein we are working with industries and institutions to come up with a customized curriculum for upskilling and ensuring the operational excellence. So here what we are doing is, it's not just a platform what we are building, but we are going to have our internal operational excellence team who will handhold every MSME company who are coming on board, ensure that we are reaching certain KPIs. These are the commitments we are giving to every company who are coming on board. We will improve their utilization by 20%, their productivity by 20%, their revenue by 15%, deliveries by 10%, and we will reduce their lead time by 30%, cost by 10%, customer internal and external complaints by 25%, and we will ensure traceability and project management 100%. This is the commitment what we are giving to every company. Okay. So to look at the capabilities of our ERP system, I'm not calling it as an ERP system because ERP system is a word which was misused. I don't know what the word I should be using, but it is misused totally. So what we are saying is that it's a it's an OEM toolkit. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Vinod, you can conclude and let us spend some time discussing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So this is the capability we are building, and yeah. Then probably I will just get into this slide quickly. What we are today and what we are going to be tomorrow, and what support I am requesting SIT. So 2023, we have 2 manufacturing MSMEs already using for last 10 months to prove that these things are working. That is already done. Then we are also focusing at the moment, we are focusing on the finance module, tool module, tool lifecycle module, project management module release. That's going to happen by December. And that's why we are saying by 2024, we are going to start the rollouts. 20 implementations are planned. There are at least 10 plus companies are lined up for implementations. Then we are kickstarting the pilot project with the FAME-TN. FAME-TN is facilitating MSME Tamil Nadu, which is a state machine for supporting the MSME activities in Tamil Nadu. So we are working out with them for a pilot project. Then we are also working with the Government of Odisha, Department of Technical Education, to set up a digital manufacturing center of excellence for them in one of their institutes. Once we are able to successfully do that, the understanding is that this will be replicated in multiple polytechnics and engineering colleges within Odisha. Then we are also trying to work with the MSME ministry for incentivizing MSME through different programs. For example, the lean implementation programs, etc. Then we are also kickstarting AI/ML prototype, IIoT and automated testing, multi-hub expansions in India. That is what we are planning for 2024. So SIT support, what we are requesting is educate the community, because this is where we are lacking a lot. We need to educate the community that systems are something mandatory which needs to be implemented to improve the productivity, improve the profitability of every business. Academy, industry, government collaboration. We need to redefine the model, because now the model, what we know is most of the time we are hearing that it is not successful. It is not effective. That's the right word to use. When we say we spend 1 lakh crore rupees for educating, upskilling, but the result also needs to be seen from that perspective. That should be agreed by the entrepreneurs that they are seeing the result. So we need to redefine the models. Then they let the policymakers consider system as a productive tool, because that is given the least importance in India today, unfortunately. But every industrialized nation is in the other way. First, they talk about the systems, what you're going to use. Then they talk about the machines, what you're going to buy. Then promote solutions addressing scarcity. Incentivize where it is impactful, not incentivize wherever they think that it is going to make a result. But we need to look at the impactness of every incentives given by the government. Then reference to the MSME OEM, that is the lowest priority request, I would say. Then we are also creating a mentor bank, wherein a place to share your knowledge to refine the deserving MSMEs. Maybe 40 to 50 hours in a year if you can spare, and if you can join with us, that would be a great support for us. Thank you. This is what I wanted to talk about.
Thank you, Vinod. Very, very impressive and what should I say, exciting journey you're on.
Yes.
Can you just unshare your slide, so that we can then start a discussion with the standard speaker view.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you was, first is, if you look at the way we have understood whatever you're doing, it still seems to be in the concept stage, is what I understand. And in the area where you are working in the existing company, I understood that you are doing the finance module, tool management or tool monitoring, and then project management. Okay.
The basic solutions are already available. We are getting into the advanced stages of that. Because
is it really implemented? See, because Vinod,
yes, it is.
I come from manufacturing, and fortunately or unfortunately, we have one more person on the same call. And apart from him, there are others also who have tried this solution multiple times.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Multiple times, and it has not really worked out. So when you talk about launching, maybe it is important for you to look at those people who have failed. I've failed at least 4 or 5 times doing this in the last 10 years.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who your counterparts are in India who know the actual ground reality here. Who really know the ground reality, because the reality of a TE to a reality of a Srinu engineering who's desperate to grow, desperate to improve productivity is totally different. It is like sun and moon, you can say, or darkness and light. So it's a totally different ballgame altogether. So my question to you is, what kind of lessons have you learned from all those people who have failed in this particular space?
Yeah. So before we jumped into this project, we interviewed at least 60 entrepreneurs.
No. Hold on. Again, let's not mince the words. I'm talking about founders like you who attempted this solution but didn't succeed. I'm not talking about talking to the entrepreneurs.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, please go on. Because the entrepreneur, if you see, the problem in India is that the guy wants everything. Everything has to be done. Everything has to be done immediately. And the readiness for the owner to get his employee to behave in a certain way is not very strong. He would like an external fellow to come and teach him how to behave, how to make sure that he's committed, he's accountable.
Correct.
The owner would not like to do that because he is sympathetic to that person because that person helped him in times of distress. That's not the case in any other company. In any other country, I've not seen that. So he's extremely loyal to the employee. At the same time, knows that the employee is of no use. Therefore, he wants somebody to make sure that this employee starts deciding correctly, becoming proactive, becoming accountable. And for that, he would like some support from outside. That's the place where you start. So you come up with something saying that is all what I want to do. Entrepreneur will say, fantastic, superb, excellent.
Okay.
My question is, how is your process in terms of talking to the people who have failed in this space quite regularly, quite often? And if you have not done that, please do that. I don't know.
Sure.
Please do that.
I haven't got connected with anyone so far who failed in this
And
space.
I think that would be a big benefit for you from the SIT community. There are a lot of people who have been venturing in this space. Okay, there are people who are starting now, people who are matured, who have already invested in something. So you could possibly talk and get them to give you some hints. That is one thing.
So if I can intervene, and so I was there with actually, Vinod during a drive when I first met him from Frankfurt when I was going towards his house. The same question I asked, because in India, as you told, that there are 100 numbers of today. The digital transformation is something, ERP or this production technology. That's so much of solutions are there. Earlier, there were solutions, but only one thing it failed is because after taking it, there were no support. And manufacturing or any business is evolving. It is not, that is why the problem, because the MSME, the same kind of business, an MSME manufacturer is manufacturing component, and the same component is manufactured by someone else. The same software cannot work because his thought process, his work, everything is different, and there should be a dynamic. So I had a discussion with Vinod on this, and he was telling that is what he's going to have a speciality for this, because he's coming out with a regular team which he is going to work along with this whoever implementing to ensure the implementation process is right. If I'm right, I think that is what somewhere Dinakar is also talking about.
No, I think, Hari, you just leave it as it is. Let us go to a technical topic, discussion topic. This we can take it offline, because there are a lot of companies in India who are trying that. Okay, I can give you a list of 10 companies who have been trying it very hard, but they don't succeed. So they say that, look, instead of India, we go to our foreign market, not the Indian market. But so that's again, we'll talk about that offline. In the meantime, one question to you, Vinod. When you look at you spoke about the foreign companies trying to implement a system first, and then talk about deciding how they want to produce, right? Now here in India, the idea is to do it fast, get the quick buck. I don't think it's a bad idea at all, because if you look at any startup, that is a secret, right? You need to try it out, fail fast, and then learn from that. So what do you think would be the core DNA of the Indian ecosystem, which is going to be a huge value add for the entire world?
See, that's where I'm saying, I don't know whether I'm answering your question in the right way, but what I believe is we have a lot to do in India. Okay, so it is how we handhold this MSME companies that is going to decide.
Pardon me for that. What do you think is the core strength in the Indian companies which we can leverage? One is you need to do a lot of things from the Western perspective. A lot of productivity improvement has to be done, cost reduction has to be done, project management has to be improved, supply availability has to be improved. All those are known. I think from your understanding of the Indian market, Indian industry, as well as the European industry, what do you think is the core strength which the Indian companies have, which can be leveraged?
Definitely, cost can be great leveraging factor. But the cost is dependent on the productivity. That is what I was about to say in the previous statement.
Absolutely right. I agree with you.
Yeah, because unless we have the productivity, we are talking about cost that is, according to me, that is meaningless. So until and unless we work on the productivity and improve the cost factor, then we are going to have a huge leverage compared to China. I would say we have a huge leverage.
Okay. Yeah, Sagar, go on, please. You have a question.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sagar, and I've got two startups. One is I am a recruitment consultant, and I specialize in recruiting for manufacturing firms. I'm a mechanical engineer, work with manufacturing firms, and that's what my specialization is. Now, the other one is I have got an architectural design consulting firm called as Creatrix Design Studio. Now, I've got three questions to you, Vinod.
Okay.
One is just the last statement what you made about productivity, right? Now, that is connected to what Dinakar also asked. Look, when you're analyzing this, you made a very bold statement at almost end of your presentation. There were so many commitments that you gave, right?
Right.
Now, what is the basis of those commitments? You gave the number like productivity improvement, some sort of percentage, business growth, so and so percentage. How did you do that? That is my first question. Second question is again connected to what Dinakar asked you, the first question. How different are you from the existing successful ones? Dinakar asked you the failed ones, but how different are you from the existing successful ones, and why do you think the MSMEs would want to actually take you, or if you are supposed to refer? I mean, I work, my 90% of my clients are MSMEs.
Right,
okay, so
right.
what is that one advantage that you have that I can tell, hey, look, you know what, Vinod can solve this for you?
Right.
That is my second question. Third one is, I had already typed, what is that LIDEX? What's the meaning of LIDEX?
That's the easiest thing I can answer. LIDEX is life-changing ideas executed. That's LIDEX.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. And the first question what you have asked, how did I arrive at those figures? That's why we've interviewed at least 60 entrepreneurs from the industry. We studied their process, we studied their pain points, we studied what level they are today, and then we set certain targets, how we are going to achieve, or by implementing certain controls, certain systems, how much we can improve on their existing KPIs. That is why we came up with these figures, and that's what we are also seeing with the two companies where we have implemented. And this is not like, as soon as you implement, you're not going to see the result. I commit this over a period of 2 years, and those two years we are going to handhold them until they reach to this level. So we are going to have an operational excellence team, internal excellence team, with people like us who have those many years of experience in the industry. So we are going to handhold every company until they achieve this. And we also have certain plans using AI, because what we are expecting or what we are anticipating is we will have certain AI boards which will be created. These boards will be always monitoring the KPIs, because since it's on a system, it's going to be live KPIs. So these KPIs will be monitored, and we will be modeling certain intelligence into that. And against that intelligence, these KPIs will, these intelligent boards will tell you what if conditions. If you are going in this direction, what is that you're going to hit? If you are going in this direction, what is that going to, where you're going to reach? And this feedback will be given to our internal operational excellence team as well as the MSME management. And then together we will come out with applications or action plans, how to optimize, how to deviate, or how to navigate through the possibilities. So it's not going to be like, that's another example. I mean, what's the difference which we are going to implement in the market? This is the big difference which we are going to bring into the market. And when we talk about the successful companies, for example, SAP is a good success company, SAP Business One. But 35 to 40 lakhs is needed for a company, for MSME to implement SAP, just to configure the SAP system. And who is having that much money? Who will spend that money? And having such a huge costly system in front of them is the biggest challenge for the MSMEs to get into this system mode, because everyone thinks that these are like huge mammoths who are going to eat away us. But that is where we are trying to give them. We are offering at somewhere around 1/10 of the cost. That's what we are offering to the market. And this is, again, I mean, we are not making huge, the purpose is not to make profit, but the purpose is to make sure that the industry is uplifted into a different level.
See, when when you are talking about the comparison, successful ones, why do you want to pick SAP, wherein MSME sector today doesn't even bother about SAP? It is probably a Tally or a RIP version or a piloted version of a Tally, or in Mysore, if you look at, there is this software called as Excel Soft, doing something very similar to you. Are you not supposed to compare yourself today with those rather than Oracle, Edwards, Dynamics, or SAP?
Correct. Absolutely. So when we are talking about a pirated version of a Tally, what is it going to give you? I mean, we don't want systems for the sake of having systems, right? We want to have systems which can really integrate the entire process. Can Tally integrate the entire process? How many companies are using Tally today?
No. Why do you think?
Apart from the accounting purpose, right? That is where this is going to be a totally integrated one. Sorry.
Why I asked you this question is, see, very recently I was having this similar discussion about MSME in another forum, which actually impacts. But you know what happened there? Not even one person from MSME sector was even representing to talk about their pain points. Now, good that you have spoken to 60 people over here, but those 60 people, are they representing the whole mass who are actually your target customers?
Sorry, the last sentence was not
when
clear.
You
could
say
you please repeat?
MSME is a very huge one. People, are they good enough? Are they ones who are actually paying you?
I think, Sagar, you have to make a start somewhere. In this forum also, definitely, we can now start. I'll talk to at least some 20 companies about India. Similarly, our other participants here, Suresh Bhaskaran, who's a close friend and an earlier colleague of mine from Bosch, he also will talk to his network. Similarly, Madhav will talk to his network. It's a question of propagating. But I feel there is definitely a huge potential. The idea is outstanding. The need of the hour is definitely there. But I think we need to really get back to the drawing board very quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, my question is,
Dinakar, was a lot of things which can be done, but we need to understand the ground reality.
Dinakar, my questions are only leading to how can I, in fact, my next question is only that, what is the size of the turnover of a company where I can actually talk about India? My question finally is like, how can I help you? The last slide you said, SIT, how can they help you? I mean, I am with that mentality to ask you, how can I help you? Who is the one whom I have to talk to?
Right. So the two companies what we have, one is a 40 crore company. The other one is a 20 crore, 17, I think 18 crore company. Okay, that is the size of the company we are looking at.
Okay, and done.
Vinodji, one thing I think so very fascinating thought process you have shared today. I'm not an engineer, but might be a very intelligent way of upscaling of production. Most important thing that what I understand from your talk is that we need to bring in an awareness.
Yes, that is what is
awareness, acceptance. The acceptance should be there, and then I think so they should collaborate to make this a more successful one.
Correct, absolutely.
That's my view on this, but definitely a wonderful presentation you made today, sir.
Thank you.
And how much does it cost to implement one such project where if suppose an industry has an investment of 100+ crores into manufacturing, automobile industry?
Negligible. I would say negligible because it's a SaaS platform. It's only subscription model. Wherein, as I said, we are going at around 400 to 500 rupees per month per user. Which is like a price from a overall when we work it out, it will be something like 1/10 of the benefit what they are gaining. That is what we will be charging. And then that is how the the price models we are going to work. So
you did share. Good. I understood that. Is this connected to real-time management also in production?
Yes.
Yeah. Fine.
It's from the real-time shop floor data capturing. It's already there in the system. It's running in the two companies.
Good. Nice to know that. Nice to know. Thank you.
So any other question? Suresh, first,
No,
and then
just
Madhav,
one
you also
reflection.
switched on your camera. Any question?
No
Madhav
question.
has
Just one quick reflection. First of all, excellent presentation, very insightful and very hands-on feedback. Thanks for that. Just building on what the topic that is being discussed about the cost of implementation. I think more than the cost of implementation and the license fee subscription, I think it is the management commitment and change management at the customer.
Change management. Exactly. That matters a lot.
Yeah. So I think money definitely matters. We need to be optimal and lean, but I think more important is the value perception by the receiving end and how we are able to drive it through the having an anchoring sponsor for the thing, because it's a change management. It is not just a tool implementation in most of the cases, right?
It's an organization change management. It's a process change management. Yeah.
Okay, Suresh, you have anything to say? Any comment?
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity. It was nice meeting all of you and talking to all of you. Vinod, I know him personally also, a very committed. Maybe if he starts the topic, he forgets the whole world. But what is needed as the need of the hour is the education of the industry. We in India have a tendency to first look at what is bad, which is going to come up. You talk about AI, people will tell we are going to lose jobs. You talk about technology, we are telling no, it's going to be disruptive or destructive. I think it should start from there, and that is most important for the Indian thing to whole perspective to change. Productivity, what do we look at it? Reduce number of people. These days, today, that is the jargon. But that's not the thing in it. And digitalization, we talk so much, but people ask how many jobs we lose. So it's always that we are either hearing to ask a next question to telling what is going to be disruptive in that, or hearing to understand. I think going to the point of hearing to understand is the best thing, and that is a big role we all have to play. I see a lot of senior leaders here in this meeting, and I think we have to play a big role in that change, because it's going to be a huge jump, and all we have to do is that we have to just tweak it. Thank you.
We must be the change makers. We must be the change makers.
Yes.
Since both of them introduce themselves, I'll introduce them to the team. And also I invite both of you to join our SIT platform. Suresh Bhaskaran was my colleague in Bosch, and now he's retired, or he basically decided to quit corporate and do something on his own. He was the managing director of Bremse. And Madhav is somebody who has been working on a platform similar, something similar to like yours. We have tried multiple avenues and not been very successful. You can understand what the reasons are. If you want, you can talk to me. I can introduce you to another couple of people who are not succeeded.
Sure. That would be great support. Yeah.
Okay. And Madhav was the earlier global services head for ABB India, and he is a master in OT, basically operations technology, SCADA, factory automation, and all that. They have done that, like what you say, day in and day out for entire world. Okay, so he was hitting the global services in India, and he is somebody who is extremely well connected, as good as our Manoj Kabre. He's the other Manoj Kabre I have in my network. So that's Madhav. And Suresh has been with we were together for a long time when I joined Bosch. After that, we parted ways. He went to TE, and I was somewhere in Germany, Brazil, and all that. Both are really very down-to-earth people. So I invite both of you to join SIT also.
Sure.
I'll send you the links to
please
join the platform.
Done.
So thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no other questions, then we come to the end. Amarji, as usual, I hand it over to you to say the final words. Before I do that, can we just take a photo of all of us? If everybody wants to switch on their cameras, then please do that. Then we'll take a small picture as a souvenir. And then we can end the chat. Amarji, over to you, please.
Yeah. Good evening, Dinakar, for this wonderful presentation by Vinodji today. Though I am into a textile business and into exports for the last 30 years, Suryaji nice meeting Surya today in this platform, connecting with more people. I think so. Automation, yes, automation is the key word today that everyone is looking for. It will change the whole framework of the industry. Acceptance to this technology is much needed, and awareness that this will benefit in a bigger way to industries will take place, because traditionally most of the industries, as I have known, are run by family members. So the families have to change their vision. We would like to spend money, but we like to have it from abroad. Indians have so much talent. And I think so we should explore to the maximum. And today there is a lot of opportunity, as I see. MSMEs industry is growing in a bigger way. This implementation of such tools will enhance our productivity level, quality, and I think so efficiency will come into a bigger role to play in this. And manpower will always be needed whichever way you go. In the implementation of technology will not hamper manpower. I think so manpower will be needed. As rightly said by Suresh, that we always creep over that, no, if you bring in IoT, if you bring in that, in this, we will lose manpower. I don't think so that will happen. But a wonderful presentation, Vinodji, I think so. Thank you for sharing this joy with all of us. Nice to learn a lot of things from you, which could be implemented and connect you to a lot of people with this line, sir. Thank you so much for all of you for joining this.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
And
much.
good night. Have a nice
Good
evening.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Good evening,